Good morning, children. Today I am starting the next part of vitamin M. I had read only the first two pages where I had ended here, where grandfather tells Ravi that he is moving out of his home, and where is he going? He is going straight away to a shop, and then he will be coming back and playing a game of chess with Ravi. Okay. And what did he do while moving out? He picked up his beautiful shiny little mahogany walking stick with a brass handle carved on the shape of an eagle's hand. It's quite beautiful stick. Put on his bright yellow cap. So grandfather was also very stylish and declared, "I'll be back home before you can set up the board." So what did he say? That within a fraction of a second he'll be back home before Ravi sets up the chessboard. Okay. Now let's see here. Off he went, twirling his walking stick jauntily, leaving Ravi in a dilemma. Now Ravi in a dilemma means Ravi doesn't know what to do. His mother told him that grandpa will not move out, and grandpa tells him that he doesn't expect his mother to keep him a prisoner. Now Ravi is in a dilemma. What will he do? His grandfather would feel hurt if he insisted on accompanying him, and his mother would be furious if she knew that Ravi had let him go out on his own. So that's why Ravi, he did not know what to do. So he is in a dilemma. He heard the elevator door shut as grandpa went down. Ravi decided he would follow grandpa secretly at a safe distance to make sure he came to no harm. If he sees grandpa is in any harm, he will just run and save him. Okay. He ran out of the building just in time to see grandpa's yellow cap disappearing round the corner. Grandpa's first stop was the children's park, where he bought himself a paper cone of peanuts and settled on a bench watching the children play. Now what did grandpa tell Ravi? That before you set the chessboard, I'll be back. Now where did he go? He went to the park. He bought a cone of peanuts and sat down to have those peanuts. So we find that grandpa is not in a mood of returning back home very fast. Okay. Ravi, feeling very foolish, had to couch behind a bush trimmed in the shape of an elephant to avoid being seen. Actually, he did not say grandpa that I am behind you. So now Ravi had to hide himself. He felt even more foolish when a small child came up to him and asked, "Are you playing hide and seek? I can show you a better place to hide." So he was very bewildered there. "Shh" was all Ravi could say before he felt a shadow fall over him and a loud voice boomed, "How dare you shoo my child? Who are you?" It was the little boy's mother. "Shh," again Ravi repeated to the massive lady. "I'll shoo you, you rude boy," said the large lady, picking up her umbrella threateningly. The ultimate humiliation was when Ravi had to crawl out of the park on all fours. He could not even stand up and walk out of the park, ducking behind the benches and creeping behind the bushes, thanking his lucky stars that grandpa hadn't heard the noise and spotted him. If grandpa would have heard that lady shouting at him, then grandpa would have spotted him at that moment only. Now comes the next stop of grandpa. Grandpa's next stop was positioned behind a big banyan tree to watch him, feeling most embarrassed when the vendors sitting under the tree gave him quizzical looks. Now the vendors thought, where does this new vendor come from? And what is he selling? He is only standing behind the tree. He doesn't have anything to sell. But why is he standing here? All vendors there and he is standing in between there. This area is booked by us, said one lady who was selling plastic combs in the same tone she might use where she asked to address a gathering without being given a loudspeaker. There's no room for any new vendors. So she thought Ravi to be a vendor. Okay, she was selling combs and she thought Ravi to be a vendor. Shh! Don't talk so loudly. Do I look as though I am selling anything? Ravi asked her. Who's talking loudly? Said the old lady. Now the lady was shouting on the top of her voice. And then she said, who's talking loudly? Said the old lady, raising her voice just enough for Ravi to hear her. Now, where is she talking to him from across the city? Now when Ravi told him to lower down her voice, she lowered it so down that only Ravi could hear. And she asked him, who is shouting? Who are you accusing of talking loudly? And that too from behind the tree? Who are you hiding from? Another vendor selling ribbons and chips asked. She too was one of those lucky ones who would never require a megaphone. So, these voices of the vendors do not require megaphones in order to talk. Their normal tone of talking is so loud that it could reach Grandpa's ears very easily. And even after that, they asked Ravi, who's shouting? Are you talking about one of us? Asked another vendor. A group of them surrounded Ravi now. Now they were really concerned about Ravi. Why Ravi is standing here. Okay. Now the next page, see, we have got a picture of Grandpa. Okay. What is he doing there? He is having tea in a tea stall. Okay. Now the next page. Oh, all right. Ravi conceded defeat and moved to duck behind a shiny silver cat peering through the windows to keep an eye on his grandfather. Grandfather took his time sipping a sugary cup of tea. He was forbidden sugar at home, Ravi thought. Then ate 2 bananas, another banned item for Grandpa. Then tucked into an ice cream too, bought from the cart. Mother would really faint if she saw all this. Ravi himself felt hot, bothered and close to fainting by the time Grandpa finished his snacks. His heart thudded anxiously when he saw Grandpa zigzagging through the traffic. He thought that if Grandpa falls down, what will happen? As he crossed the road, Grandpa even crossed the road easily. Okay, the person who was supposed to return back home is crossing the road now. He shut his eyes in panic when he heard the screech of brakes and opened them just in time to see Grandpa entering the barber's shop. Now nowhere else. Where is Grandpa going? To the barber's shop. Now Grandpa was as bald as a table tennis ball. So what will Grandpa cut there? So Ravi decided that a closer look was in order. He crossed the road, first looking dramatically left and then right, and then hurriedly tucked into the shop next to the barber's shop, only to be evicted a moment later amidst a volley of feminine shrieks because it happened to be a ladies' hairdressing saloon. He had got inside where? A ladies' hairdressing saloon, and many shrieks came up, and Ravi ran out from there. Just as well I was thrown out, thought Ravi, because he spotted Grandpa making his way briskly through the bus stop now. And oh no, boarding the first bus that stopped there. Sprinting for the bus and jumping onto it seconds before it started would have deterred a lesser detective. Now Ravi, we find, is not a lesser detective. But not Ravi, who was panting as he struggled for a place in the bus. Now Ravi, when he ran and jumped into the bus, he was panting very fast and he wanted a seat in the bus to sit down. He could see Grandpa's yellow cap only, somewhere in the front. It was warm inside the bus, so Grandpa took off his cap to reveal a full head of grey hair. Now Grandpa was bald. Where did that grey hair come from? Ravi was startled. Surely Grandpa couldn't have bought a wig at the barber's shop, he thought, pushing his way to the front of the bus to confront the cap wearer, because the cap was Grandpa's. Now who is the cap wearer? It was a total stranger. He was wearing a white pajama and shirt, which was Grandpa's standard attire, and a yellow cap exactly like Grandpa's. But wait, the cap had a coffee stain on its rim, just like Grandpa's. Grandpa's cap is here, but where is Grandpa? Grandpa's cap! Ravi couldn't help exclaiming. The stranger grinned pleasantly and told Ravi that a kind old gentleman in the barber's shop had insisted that he take his cap because it was such a hot day. That was typical of Grandpa, always generous. But where was Grandpa now? Ravi had lost Grandpa. Oh my God. Ravi went back to the barber's shop running. Grandpa wasn't there. He wasn't at the park too. Ravi was frantic now. After all, his mother had left him in charge of Grandpa. He tried calling first his mother and then his father from a telephone booth, but both numbers were busy. Sick with worry, Ravi went home, wondering whether Grandpa would be able to find his way back home or not. Now Ravi was very much in trouble because he knew his mother is going to scold him like anything because he let Grandpa out of the house. And Grandpa, if he loses his way, he cannot return back. So this much for today, okay children? We'll read the next part next day. Okay, it's a mystery for us. What happens next? Now coming up to your questions. Just see here. Question 3. Was Ravi successful at training his grandpa? Answer is no. Ravi was not successful ultimately at training his grandpa. Describe his outing. Just see here. when we return back to page number 132, how will we describe his outing that day? See here. Ravi's first stop was the children's park. Okay, where he saw Grandpa buying a paper cone of peanuts and settled on a bench. Okay. Ravi's second stop was the tea stall, and this time he had taken position behind a banyan tree where all vendors thought him to be a vendor and he had to run away from there. Third, where did he go? He found Grandpa having a sugary cup of tea there, and then two bananas and an ice cream. He stood behind and saw everything, and at last he saw Grandpa crossing the road and moving up to the barber's shop. Okay, and then to the bus stop. Ravi also went to the bus stop crossing the road and ran and caught the bus too. But at last he found that the person sitting with the yellow hat in the front seat of the bus was not Grandpa. Thus, when we describe his outing there, we find that at last Ravi had lost trace of Grandpa. Okay, children? So this will be the answer. You all write it down. After I finish all the questions, I'll set an assignment in the assignment section of Google Classroom. You all will send your answers there. Okay? Okay. Thank you.